Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was in New York last week for the 79th United Nations General Assembly. During his visit, Dr. Holness participated in several activities, one of which saw Jamaica joining other UN member states in adopting a threefold declaration. The agreement includes the Pact for the Future, the Global Digital Compact, and the Declaration on Future Generations.
Even as we address the challenges of today, we have an obligation to protect the interests of future generations and ensure that they will inherit a planet in which they can thrive. We must now translate that enthusiasm into action by giving life to the Declaration.
The declarations, which seek to guide global decision-making for the next century and beyond, will cover areas such as sustainable development, climate change, and digital cooperation, among others.
For governments like mine, this effort will require a whole of society collaboration as we seek to embed futures thinking in all our decision-making processes across national and local government.
While co-chairing the summit of the Future Interactive Dialogue, Dr. Holness assured world leaders that Jamaica is fully committed to meeting the needs of current and future generations.
The government I lead is committed to fully engaging in a forward-thinking process of reform, leveraging data and science as tools to inform our decision-making and embedding long-term thinking into every level of policy-making.
Prime Minister Holness also used the UN Summit of the Future to share Jamaica's success in building a resilient economy.
The COVID pandemic would have set us back. But within the fiscal program, we built in resilience. So we ensured that our economy was able to respond to shocks. And we were able to respond to the COVID pandemic and the subsequent shocks that followed. So I think that Jamaica could be cited as an example of a country that maintained fiscal discipline, built in buffers, and took the necessary steps to build resilience in its economy to be able to respond to unexpected crises and shocks.
Prime Minister Holness also participated in the commemorative ceremony of the 30th anniversary of UNESCO's Roots of Enslaved Peoples program. The event, which seeks to honor the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade, was held at the Ark of Return. During his presentation, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness reaffirmed Jamaica's unwavering support for reparatory justice and the proclamation of the Second International Decade for People of African Descent.
History is replete with accounts of horrific atrocities experienced by enslaved Africans in the 400 years of the transatlantic slave trade. Yet, through their own action and great sacrifice, our ancestors emerged as heroes, passing on to their descendants the dignity, integrity, and resilience with which they became masters of their own destinies.
Other developments coming out of the Prime Minister's visit to New York include bilateral discussions with the Prime Minister of the Republic of Haiti, Gary Conille. The conversation focused on returning stability to the island and Jamaica's continued support once normalcy returns. Prime Minister Holness also held bilateral talks with his counterpart from the Kingdom of Lesotho, the Right Honourable Samuel Chouakane Matekane. That meeting affirmed the bonds of friendship between the countries and a resolve to strengthening the partnership in areas of mutual importance. Prime Minister Holness also held talks with Kenya's President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. While in New York, Dr. Holness updated the Jamaican diaspora on significant long-term investments being undertaken by the government to improve the country's road infrastructure. Mr. Holness assured the diaspora that for the first time in history, the country is financially able to carry out major infrastructure development.
Going forward, the government is making the commitment with the budgetary allocations from our economic performance to build new roads, improve those roads, and to maintain them.
Back home, Prime Minister Andrew Holness followed through on the government's commitment to regularize informal settlements. On Wednesday, he signed a contract and broke ground for the Spicy Grove housing development in St. Mary. The project will facilitate the surveying and titling of 70 lots. Residents will also have access to proper roads and water supply. Dr. Holness stressed the importance of land ownership in fostering community protection.
It is very important that we regularize informal settlements, that the people who live in these communities take ownership. You see, this business of living somewhere and you don't feel like you own it, it means that you don't take the kind of responsibility for the community that you should.
Journeying to the neighboring parish of St. Anne, the Prime Minister broke ground for the Lancewood Pipeline Extension project in exchange. The project is being spearheaded by the National Water Commission, NWC, at a cost of $16 million and will benefit over 400 residents in Lancewood and adjoining districts.
The works, it will entail, first of all, the replacement of old encrusted, probably asbestos pipes that were used for distribution. In other words, these are the pipes that would take water from the main to your house.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.